go over basic applications for single whip. Now, remember, the thing about Taiji makes it very unique is the system of gestures. You're fighting in gesture. Because you're talking about highest probability statistical applications of vector, not this does this one thing. So I just want to give you some ideas and concepts that can be used when doing single whip. We're going to do a modern version of single whip, which is without so many spirals, so you get an idea that's relatable to you, and then later on we'll do a more advanced version. So the William Chen, Ching style, or Zigzag 24 style, or a lot of modern Chen style even have less rotation in their older style. And when you go into the first single whip, okay, any variation, I'm trying to do a very open variation so you get the idea of the vectors, not so much technique. When you start off, you can think of it as a hook, you can think of it as a chop, you can think of it as a grab. All the techniques have a strike, a grapple, and a break. When I mean a break, I mean literally a bone break. And trying to have the thing a bone setting. There's also a bone unsetting with dislocations that aren't taught to the population that are very easy to do. And you see a lot of it happen in jiu-jitsu, but it goes much deeper than that. So, first, hand strike. You start off and push. Goes, my hip is turning. That's really not enough. What I want to happen is before we go right, we go left. Before we go to the right, turn. Now, front to turn. You can see that that turn is where this spiral comes from. Take this hand, which hand? Enough. Add the forehand. It's enough. Okay? Finish chop. Finish chop. Now from here, because we already have the foot turn, and I know you know the intersecting T slide stance, we've already shifted our weight. Single leg just really open. All thing we have right now is a shift of weight to get the power. So as we shift the center of mass with the foot, that is what throws the hand. Okay? Now that we're locked up this way, we now have something called brushing. Right? Brushing is a coiling effect or a rub effect. If you're in a guard and you're clenched, you can't use it to torn somebody, you pick your hand up and put it into their throat and you raise all of your body weight. This is not something you do in a tournament. It's really disrespectful. You just don't do something like that. Now, if you're 80 years old and you're trying to get home to your grandkids, this is something you need to do. You gotta go home. So, raise the eyes, chop the neck, raise through the neck. Okay? Obviously, you have your simple, your easy throw the punch. As you throw the punch, this uncoiling is what gears your punch. Okay? From here, obviously, is showing you all the chop. Okay? It's very simple move to see. The clothesline, I don't think people see very often. It's right in your face. So you're here, up. As I do the first step, it's there. It's just right there. And it's there 3 or 4 times. First time on the step, second time on the shift, third time on the shift, fourth time on the turn, fifth time on the shunt, sixth time on the settle. It's just over and over and over and over again. You're putting your body weight into that arm to the neck. You could also be punching out again. Finishing up on your single whip, give us an open style or a closed military style. Stop and set the palm. After you finish this set, right, we're here, I punch this guy. There's another thing I think most people go over is that in classical karate and in classical martial arts, I'm fighting multiple opponents. So if I'm surrounded by people, my goal is to get to the outside of the circle. So I have 3 people around me. This guy's coming from this corner. I throw a bomb on this dude, I crack him, and then I step away. I hit him and step away towards the other opponent. Okay? Now that I'm here, guard, chop, cover, whatever this vector is, I now have to hit him, but I do not have time to come back out and go back in. So I take my fingertips and grab, or rake, or press or dot and stab with the tips of the fingers to a soft target. Grab and rip. So when you do the form, it's nice and pretty. When you actually apply the form, it's not pretty. It's not supposed to be. It's whatever it needs to be at that time. You practice form because you want to teach the body the highest probability of stability and power output. In reality, you're never going to be in the perfect spot, but if you practice being in the perfect spot, and then you practice with a lot of different people, you're going to learn how to bring yourself closer to that perfect spot. The same as a golf swing or a baseball bat. If you're swinging a baseball bat, yeah, you learn this perfect swing, but when the ball comes, you know where it's going to come from. And sometimes you get a better swing than others. But if you are better off practicing that good swing and hope you get it than not practicing a swing at all. And that's where I think the problem with form comes in. They don't understand how to apply it. So, 1, hit, stab, hit, clear. Ending up to lift hands to plate talk. As you cut, I'm going to do another brush. This brushing technique can be a rake in the face. It can be a grab and pull. It can be a hook punch. It can be an elbow. It can be a shoulder. It can be a grapple. It can be a throw. It can be anything you need it to be. But more important is you understand that the possibilities are endless because it's not a style application, it's a style of gesturing. What could it be? What could it be in that moment? And that's what makes it so important as a foundational style for all systems. Tai Chi is not something that should be taught as, in my opinion, the only style. It should be a style you learn after you learn basic martial arts. It's a style like you learn from mastery of other things. It's a style you put on top of styles. And it's, from my understanding of the history, it was very rare that someone was taught any form of Tai Chi first and on its own. I'm not saying it wasn't done, but from my understanding, this was something you went to after you learned the fundamentals of external styles. And the difference between external and internal style is that they're all internal styles. The external style starts from the outside in big frames and then works its way to inside. Whereas the internal style supposedly works from the inside and then starts from the external. However, if you're practicing just an internal style, you must start with a middle frame or larger frame form to have something to measure what's going on in the body. And I think this is the biggest mistake of the William Chen and Chen and Cheng lineages, is when you start and only practice the small frame form, you wind up with small frame ideas only. And you become limited in double light, or double heavy, or double whatever, but you're caught on one end of the extreme, and you're out of phase, you're out of balance. So a lot of these people, while they're very good at that one aspect, they do not move well. They, in their older years, they walk like they can barely move. They walk like they walk in the form, because that's what they do. And they also miss a lot of the techniques. A lot of these were considered, nonsense Fa Jin. You see me performing all the time. It took me a long time to figure it out because no one was there to teach it to me. I had to go and literally pick fights with all these Chinese masters and steal it from them in push hands and figure it out and piece it together. Because the thing is, in the Chinese culture, a lot of the villages hold grudges from China in Chinatown. It's like it's kind of funny. Also, there's dialects, so they don't speak the same language exactly. So I was allowed and able to gather information from the different villages you'd see in the parks and go hang out with all the different masters, and they would grace me with allowing to play with them and take the technique in a way that they wouldn't let their own people do it. And I know it sounds kind of crazy, but it is. It is kind of crazy when you understand the culture, what actually happens. There's no exchange of information that, as you would expect, as there is in MMA, for instance. And MMA now is not really mixed martial arts. It's a cage fighting system. It's human cockfighting that's been systemized. It's not a martial art because it's not made for war. It's made for fighting. It's made for social conflict. It's not made for asocial violence. And that's something you really need to consider. Tai Chi is meant for asocial violence. And while a lot of these fake masters will say, well, I couldn't use my technique against him because I would have to kill him, it's true. The issue is that they're using it as a crutch because they don't have the technique anyway. But when I tell you I don't want to fight because the only thing I can use is ripping your throat out because I've been learning to cheat because I don't want to fight. I want to go home to my family. So I'm not looking to win a match. I'm looking to just break whatever's in front of me and go home. And it's a big difference between this guy who's saying he can do that and someone who actually can do that. Okay? It's a big difference. So it's kind of, it's like this land of make-believe where they use the legends because they want to hide the fact they don't have it. But then there's people who actually do have it and you think it's not real, then you're gonna get yourself hurt. You know, and that's why the real martial artists don't compete. They don't want to fight because they see what they do when, you know, they have to defend somebody who's getting hurt in the street and then they just wreck somebody's face. And the guys, you know, I hate to say this, you're bringing it to a level of violence that they cannot comprehend. And when you understand that, you need to not go there. Okay? People think, like, I honestly would rather get cut than hit with a traditional type strike. I know that sounds crazy. I'd rather get cut and slashed. I have all the scars to prove it. I've been there. I'll tell you, I'd rather get cut than hit with one of those strikes. Because you're talking about the difference between a laceration and a maceration, compounding fractures, like, you know, breaking bones and ripping pieces of your body apart in a way that's not fathomable to the average person. This is why I only want to show that. I just want you guys to understand it's there. And the only part that the average public needs to defend themselves is not even to go that far. Because the basic fundamentals of what Taiji is supposed to teach you, or Taekwondo originally supposed to teach you, or Karate originally supposed to teach you, not this McDojo bullshit, was to destroy on contact. Not to fight is to cheat. And my master, I leave you with this, said, there's no such thing as a karate fight. It is scientific, dirty combat. It's science. It's a science of cheating in any way possible, doing the most damage as possible, as fast as possible, so you can go home. And that's what you need to put into your practice in Taiji. As for the health aspect, what's actually happening when you do this form, if you don't have the mental intention, yi, the spirit intent, shen to yi, right, is mind intention to attack or defend, even if you're doing it lightly, there's a certain type of voltages and nervous system transmission, nervous system innervation at a very low level that's happening that's different when you're thinking, I'm going to defend myself from a punch. Even if you're doing a slow motion, like shadow boxing, right? If you just throw your hands around, it's nothing. But when you visualize the opponent in front of you, and you say to yourself, okay, this guy's throwing I got a sweep under, I got to hit him in the liver. That's a different approach than just throwing your hands in the air. Same with the Taiji, you're not going to get the effect of the form and the real health benefit if you're not thinking someone's trying to rape your daughter, you need to stop him. And that is what's missing, is the preservation of virtue, the preservation of life, and that's where the codes of the warrior ethics came from. It's not about competing who's better, it's about saving your family, it's about taking care of your community, it's about, like, you know, defending virtue. And when you understand that, you can bring these techniques back into your schools and your homes, and then you can bring virtue back to the community and realign the community. Until you really deal with the preservation of virtue in life and death, you have nothing to stand your honor on. It's just chest bumping and nonsense. What's up, guys? It's Master D from NYC, and we're here starting with our Moving for the People series on YouTube. Check us out every day for a new video. We'll be giving you free lessons, and hopefully guys who have money will pay for it, and the ones who don't, we'll pass it on to the kids. So check us out for more. Subscribe, hit the bell on the bottom, hit the like, buy some t-shirts, buy some other cool stuff, and, you know, donate to the cause.